Next question on Israel. Today, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas is, quote, not close. Would you continue to support sending aid to Israel if negotiations continue to stall? Ms. Goodlander.
You know, the relationship between the United States and Israel is one that is rooted in deeply held values and also deeply held interests. I know from my experience serving as an intelligence officer in the United States Navy Reserve, I know firsthand the importance of the relationship, the intelligence relationship, and the defense cooperation relationship that we have with the state of Israel. My view is that the relationship cannot be defined by the person who's sitting in the Prime Minister's office in Israel, just in the same way that we would never want our relationships in the world to be defined by who's sitting in the Oval Office. If that were the case, the 4 years that we had Donald Trump as president would have destroyed America's relationships all across the world. So to me, the relationship is much deeper, and it is rooted deeply in the idea that we are both democracies. And so Congress plays an incredibly important role in this relationship. I saw it firsthand when I started my career in the United States Senate as a staffer, where there was a bipartisan, bicameral supermajority of members of Congress who were helping to advance American interests and American values. And that's what I want to be a part of in Congress.
Would you continue the aid, though, Ms. Goodlander?
You know, we have a memorandum of understanding that was negotiated during the Obama administration that governs our defense relationship with Israel. And that is a memorandum of understanding that I believe should continue.
Mr. Van Oosteren, same question to you.
I certainly wouldn't shut off aid for a nation that's seen such an extraordinary level of terrorism. And I've been really heartened in my conversations with people here in New Hampshire about how so many of us can hold multiple ideas in our mind at the same time that are not at tension with each other. One is the attacks of October 7th of last year were devastating terrorism. 1,200 people killed, hundreds taken hostage. Some of the hostages just executed this past weekend. And Israel has a right to defend itself. It has a right to exist, and it's an incredibly important ally of the United States of America. And it's entirely consistent with that to also acknowledge the humanitarian crisis since is untenable. Now, it's hard, it's complicated. Sometimes this is because Hamas is hiding under hospitals because they want this crisis to continue. But we have to use every diplomatic tool that we have in order to bring this to a close. I believe the long-term solution here has to be a diplomatic one. It's going to come in the form of a two-state solution. So the people of Israel and Palestine both have democratic self-governance that will help break the cycle of terrorism that we're in right now.